Hello, Mr. Ryan.
Hello, Mr. Miller.
When was the last time someone called you Mr. Ryan? Like when you're at a high school event or something? Or do they call you Tim?
Yeah, probably so.
Is
It's
that just
always
like a
weird.
respect
It's weird
thing?
to hear.
Is it
I'm
a
not com-
respect thing, you think?
Perhaps. I don't know. It's makes me a little uncomfortable. How about you? Do you like Mr. Miller?
No. Um, no. And I have over the years been working with a lot younger people. And so I guess they're closer to the age of saying that than not. It is weird though. Do students while in school still call their teachers and professors Mr. or Mrs. last name, or do they call them by first name?
Well, I think in college you call them Professor so and so. I believe. I know, but I don't know. I have no clue.
What is the difference between a professor and a teacher?
I think a professor is at the higher ed level. But dude, it's been a while. It's been a minute since I've been out of school, so I
Never
don't
going
know
back.
I don't know how times have changed.
Did you meet our today's guest at the Startup Earth Cup?
Yeah, it was super brief. As you know, there was a whirlwind of activity that was happening,
Oh yeah.
and I just know I remember like looking at all the pictures. The one that was probably the most calm was today's guest.
Oh really?
Yeah,
That's
I mean
cool.
like everybody. Yeah, he was just chilling. We're just
His
waiting
first
to go.
pitch too. He told me.
Yeah, dude, that's a big stage. A big stage to have your first pitch.
Well, and it's an awkward stage too, because normally you can look out, but this way you gotta look up and around.
Yeah.
So I recall at one point I told the audience, "Oh, I feel like I'm giving this side a little bit too much love. Let me go over here." But Tim, I'm excited to announce that today's guest is exactly what you want him to be, a first-time podcaster as well.
Hey guys, what's up?
What's up, Josh?
Josh King, what up?
Might be the youngest as well.
No, Kempsville kids.
Oh yeah. We had some high school kids. That was
close.
That was fun.
Yeah, there was like 19 of them. They were roasting Tim and I the entire time.
We lost control of that show pretty quick.
Yeah. So you're a king.
Yeah. King, Josh King. Whenever I write my name, the J, I put a crown on top of it. I started doing that when I was in elementary school.
I dig that. A little Easter egg in there. That's cool. That's cool.
And you're from the Fredericksburg area, is that correct?
Yes, been here my whole life.
Nice.
So
I was just up in Fredericksburg a few weeks ago.
Oh, for the baseball game.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
And, made a little party afterwards downtown. That was fun.
Oh, cool.
Where's downtown Fredericksburg? And is there actually big buildings, or what is it, just like a street? What's the
It's next to the river. It's so it's just a nice downtown area. There's not really, I don't know if there's big buildings. It's really nice though.
Yeah. But we hit a few establishments and had a couple cocktails. Yeah. There's I can't remember the name of their little speakeasy that we went to. Went downstairs in the basement, and it was cool. It's a fun place.
Today's guest, Josh the King with the crown over the J when he signs his name. Not old enough to drink, Tim. We can't be talking about
yet.
Stuff.
Not yet.
I was talking to Josh a couple days ago if he was going to CES, and I couldn't recall how old he was. And he said, "Oh, I'm 21 in January." So we're looking at when CES is. It's 2 weeks before his 21st birthday.
Oh, nice.
So it's like, oh, you can't go until 2026. You just gotta wait,
I'll have to wait for next time.
Yeah. So, business, gaming, entrepreneurship, is that something that's always kind of been a thought in your life as to what was going to happen, or what's, because you did go to school for a little while. Give us the quick and dirty.
Yeah, well, if you start way back from the beginning, I
Oh,
used to
your mom
make
and dad
yeah, mom
or
and
in
dad.
love?
No, no, no. I used to make these comic books. I was into Captain Underpants. I don't know if you guys know about Captain Underpants, but I used to make these comic books when I was little, and I would always try to like write them long books. And then I realized at some point that like I didn't like writing the books. I liked putting them together and like folding the edge of the book, make the back look like a real book. And like very young, I realized like, oh, I maybe I like making things, not like drawing and stuff. And so I would mess with like popsicle sticks. I used to make these little crossbows out of like popsicle sticks, shooting barbecue skewers. So like really young, I knew I liked making things. Um, and then I always think back to like elementary school. I remember being in like third grade and like having a hard time with the times tables. And I was like, oh my goodness, how am I gonna make it in fifth grade? Fifth grade seems so hard. And then I would think like, oh man, now I have like 4 more years of high school and 2, and then college. And I for some reason when I was little, I always used to think like, dude, having a job would be crazy. You got to work for 60 until you're 60. So like I always had that thought in my mind of like, uh, how could I not make that happen? Because it seemed so crazy to me even when I was little. So I went to So if we jump forward a little bit, I went to VCU, Virginia Commonwealth University in Richmond. And while I was there, I found out that I have ADHD because I had a really hard time making the deadlines. In high school during COVID, you could turn everything in at the end of the semester, and I would get all the years worth of work done on the last day. And but in college, it was like, daily uh daily you had to turn stuff in every day, and it just completely ruined it. So I started writing down like um I had a list of like stuff that would get me out of school, and one of the things on there was the controller. um yeah, so I started working on the controller while I was in school.
Have you
Corey,
always been a gamer?
Not well, yeah. I used to play Skate 2, if anyone knows about Skate 2, when I was really little, but we didn't really have internet here. We had satellite and it was really slow. So I never got to like play with my friends, play
what is it
Call of
called?
Duty.
Skate 2?
Yeah, Skate. Skate 2 was the best with my friends. That's all
Is it
we
like
used to
Game Boy?
play.
Is
That's
that
on the
paperboy?
Xbox
Okay,
360.
so Skate is like Tony Hawk.
Yeah, yeah, Tony Hawk, but like more realistic. You have one of the joysticks and you can actually like flick it like you would the skateboard. It's like it was really fun.
Were you
Um,
into fidget toys? Fidget spinners?
mm, no, I wasn't. No, I was a little too old when that was happening.
Oh, okay. So you're throwing shade at me. I've been 35 years old and use a fidget toy. Whatever. I was I made this statement to my wife a couple weeks ago that one of the reasons that I like to go to the casino is to actually just play with the chips because I like to touch things.
Mm.
And I don't know if
You
that's
touch
actually true.
those dirty ones?
I you have to make the money. You got to throw it in, Tim. But I will tell you this: while I believe that a casino is cleaner than some places, it is an absolute atrociously dirty specimen of disgust. That's all. Anywho,
Mm.
lots there. Okay, so the deadline thing, you have ADHD. I know I have that too. I think that's really interesting. So you graduated high school during COVID. What year did you graduate?
I graduated 2022, so we were in school senior year. We got
Okay.
to at least attend that.
You you feel like you lost any, I'm going to use the word life, but did you lose
Yeah.
any life or the skills that maybe like that are missing now that you're like, oh man, like not being there for that year or two really screwed me up, or like what are your just general thoughts on that?
Yeah, there's a lot there because like I actually feel like I enjoyed COVID. It was just like I was just playing Minecraft. I discovered Minecraft while I was in COVID, and it was kind of the best thing ever. But then looking back, it's like 2 years of high school doesn't exist. You know, it was just kind of a skip ahead. And but missing like academic stuff, I think it was probably pretty detrimental to me because you know, I think that's maybe why I started like, I think everyone started slacking in COVID because you could just turn stuff in whenever, you know, no one's watching you take the test. You got your phone in your pocket and stuff. It was probably really bad. Yeah, it was probably not good academically for
Tim,
me.
as a parent, do you feel that way?
What's that?
Tim, as a parent, do you feel that way?
Yeah. Well, I mean, certainly. I mean, yeah. I mean, like as a parent, the teachers, you know, like they had no idea how to
Mm-hmm.
manage students and work synchronously and all that. So yeah, it was just kind of like everyone, they were just trying to get through it.
Yeah.
The history books will be interesting 30 years from now to be like, you know, did we play this the right way? You know, and obviously people are going to say one way or the other, but like it will be interesting. You know, if you really look, it does seem like we are a little lazier. We are a little bit more dependent than we used to be.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how the old history books, if they still have books, then I don't know.
Well, that's it. So this is the deal, man. But yeah, like my son Josh, he's a freshman at Virginia Tech, and so yeah, like if you did not know this, Zach, all your textbooks now they're all digital, so you do not buy textbooks anymore
at all.
No, everything is you buy the license online, so you can't. It's not like you can even sell your books anymore.
Yeah.
Well, how much does a license cost?
He was in for like $500-600 for
okay, that's still bull.
Yeah.
Oh, it's total. It's a total
because it
scam,
used to be
man.
anywhere from $100 to $1,500. These books were terrible. My senior year, I didn't buy a single book. I got straight A's.
Yeah, it's yeah, and you know, as I'm sure you did the same thing. You buy used books and then you would turn around and then sell them again, and yeah, so like
those books are not worth $200-300. It's like, what value am I getting out of this?
It's crazy. So you so Josh, you're opting to take the entrepreneurial route. You want to and I think Zach and I have always been pretty vocal about you know, what you can learn through the school of hard knocks, you know, is way more applicable to taking some crazy gen ed stuff in university or college A or B that you're not going to apply in life.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think the way they teach is, it just doesn't really make any sense to me. Like I feel like they'll show you an engine, and then they'll be like, the first thing they start off with is a screwdriver, and they'll go, so like you see the handle, it's made out of like polycarbonate, and it's like injection molded, and it's all this like, it's ergonomic, and you hold it, and then they'll do math about torque, and then at the end of the school year, they'll finally be like, oh yeah, that screwdriver, you remember that first day? Oh, you use that to like unscrew this little, you know, screws on the engine, when they could just be like, here's a bolt, here's a screwdriver, and then you just, you know, I feel like they do it backwards, like math. I feel like I could have been really good at calculus, but they don't. They do it backwards. They're like, this is cosine, this is this. But I'm thinking like, tell me what this is for?
But that's because a lot of these teachers are teaching to a book they haven't actually lived yet.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Which the material is years old.
Exactly.
Right, and the material
like, they could show me a 3D printer does a lot of calculus. You could show me a 3D printer and then work it back from there. And it would make so much more sense to me. It's
Tim, I don't know if I ever told you the story, but you know, went to college, journalism, 5 years, 6 figures is what it cost. I think you knew that. But my first week at a TV station, I learned more, you know, on the job in that first week than I did the entire 5 years that I spent, you know, 100,000 plus on. And it's like, why didn't I just immediately just go there? You know, it's crazy. It's like, that's what I think we mean by like hands-on stuff. It's like, yeah, like maybe there's a basic principle that could have been taught in a week, but then go in and do the damn thing. And I enjoy West Virginia University. I have nothing bad to say about them. But the actual just college aspect of things, I think it's just like, so like there are better ways. You can learn more from YouTube these days, from someone who's actually doing it, or by listening to someone on a podcast giving you some sort of like little note and be like, oh, let me go try that. I mean, like you didn't know how to make a controller, but somehow you did.
You can learn everything from YouTube. Like,
let's jump into this controller. Like, how did you determine the need, or that the problem existed? How did you discover that, hey, this is absent and it needs to be present?
Yeah, you asked me earlier about if I'm a gamer. I said I played Skate 2. And that was kind of it. We didn't have internet, so I didn't play Call of Duty. But later, I discovered Minecraft. I think it was actually right before COVID. And I was watching this guy, PewDiePie. He used to be the biggest YouTuber in the world. And he started playing Minecraft again. And I had never seen the game before, or I've heard about the game before. And it just like, I was completely obsessed. And I had to play it. But, I didn't have any consoles. I didn't have a PS4 or anything like that. And then I found out you could play it on your phone. And at the same time, Apple had just allowed Xbox controllers to connect to your phone. So we went to the GameStop and I grabbed an Xbox controller, connected it to my phone. I designed a little 3D printed clip that would go around the Xbox controller and hold on to the pop socket on the back of my phone. And so that's how I played on it all through high school. I'd bring it to school and I'd tell my friends, like, yo, bring your Xbox controller to school, download Minecraft. And we would play online, like in class during high school.
Your teachers loved you, huh?
Oh yeah, it was the best. So when I went to college, when I started writing down that list of like things that would get me out, I looked back and I was like, that was really cool. But it would be awesome if it could actually like fit in your pocket. Like, what would be the better form factor there? And looking at what was out there now, like the stuff that goes around it, I just didn't feel very like, it didn't feel very elegant. And so that's when I came up with the sliding, like looking at some other stuff, like the old phones that would slide out. They all kind of ended up on that form factor where it's like, you got
that was my first smartphone, the initial Droid. Slide that keyboard out, start typing on it.
You were an Android guy, Tim?
Wow. That was my first smartphone.
Wow, I can't imagine you ever being so mean to Apple. What happened? Why did you switch? Wow, so crazy. Do you have it in your pocket right now? I feel like it's always
I got it right here. It is always in my pocket. Got it right here. Boop. There it is.
See, the thing that I like about that, it's just clean and simple.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that thing clip.
I feel like the biggest part of it just, when it's on, if you told me this was a like new product without the screen on, without looking at the notch and stuff, it just feels like a one piece, like actual console. It doesn't feel like a phone with a controller strapped to it.
What were you saying, Tim, about clean?
No, it's just a super clean design. Kind of reminds me back of like the initial Nintendo days. Like, man, I used to do game like Super Mario Brothers like crazy back in the day.
The old square unit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever beat that game?
I did. Yeah.
Wow. Tim the Gamer Ryan.
Yeah, those are fun.
What about Skate? What about Skate 2? Did you ever win that?
I've never played Skate 2. So like, I think my gaming days ended with Nintendo.
There was a really janky controller. What, N64? Is that the one? There was, or no, it was Sony Dreamcast or something.
That one too.
That controller was like the size of like a Cybertruck or something.
Yeah,
like, it's just obnoxiously large.
Yeah,
I kid. Don't get mad, Tim.
Dude.
Oh, I
You know
see.
what's
He's got the
you know what's
SpaceX shirt on.
yeah, yeah. You know what's funny about the Cybertruck though is all these people are like, "Oh, it's so ugly." I'm like, "Yeah, but you're talking about it, so obviously the free marketing is
Dude,
working."
it's like it's the only vehicle on the road that has no
Mhm.
badging whatsoever. It doesn't need any badging.
I figured out where that Cybertruck in my neighborhood is.
Oh, did you?
Mm-hmm. It does not fit in their driveway. Okay, so you got the unit. You somehow then start getting on YouTube and
Mhm.
walk us through that
Yeah.
because creating a YouTube page and uploading a video is good, but getting almost 500,000 views is a completely different game.
Yeah. So that was there was another thing on my list of things that would get me out of school, possibly. And it was this thing right here, in the background. So it's I started working on this while I was in school too. It closes its wings like that. You wouldn't think it could fly, but it opens its wings up. And then so like midair, you can close its wings and it'll just fall from the sky. And you can actually kind of control it while it's falling. And then like last minute, you can open the wings up and kind of like Buzz Lightyear in that one scene in Toy Story. So I made it, and then I was going to make a YouTube video on it. But then there's this YouTube channel called Flight Test. They do all kinds of RC stuff. They kind of invented this like way of making RC planes with poster board and cardboard and stuff like that. And they have an event in the summers where they just have like hundreds of people that come with all their RC planes, and they'll fly them. They have all kinds of events. They even like have combat where everyone puts all the airplanes they can up in the air and just like smash them. So there'll be like 300 airplanes up in the air all at once running into each other. But I went there because they always film the coolest airplanes, and I brought this one, and they actually did film it and put it on their YouTube channel. And there was even some more YouTubers there, like Peter Schriepel, and I had my YouTube channel name Eternal Progression on the wing. So everyone's video I was in, my channel name was there. And so then right after Flight Test, I got the video put up as quick as I could, and then everyone started flooding to the first YouTube video. So I got like 100,000, 130,000 views. And then I actually made two of them. This one's V2. And so I had two videos with 100,000 views on them. And that's what started it.
The thing that I find so funny about that is like, that's an impressive number. 100,000, 400,000, almost 500,000. Yeah. But like talking to you, or when you're looking at like PewDiePie numbers, I mean, like that's like your first 10 minutes that you push out a video. So yeah, are you impressed with those numbers, or you still think there's a lot more room for you to grow?
I hope there's a lot more room for me to grow. They're like good starting numbers. And they're probably good for marketing the controller. I think they're going to be good enough for that, but hopefully,
The one number that I thought was interesting, Tim, during all this is Josh, when you said, you have all those numbers, but it's gotten 13, 14,000 email subscribers too.
Yeah.
Which that's a pretty high percentage off of a video to then get you to do that. Like there's a lot of work to go from, A to B in that and to get that. Yeah. And so it's, you don't always see that. You see people who get a lot of views and then nothing else in there. So to have, a 5-figure email list, I mean, people spend their entire lives trying to get something that high. And for you to be there and you haven't even necessarily launched yet, like it's a good number.
Yeah. Something about like, there's something about the gaming community and same thing with the making community. It's like, and especially with YouTube, the platform itself, like those views feel really heavy. Like if you look at TikTok, someone could get like 2 million views pretty easily just with like some clip they take and put up there. But it could have like 2 comments. It could have like 5 million views and like 100 comments. Whereas on YouTube, like the controller video has 400,000, but it's got like 5,000 comments. And like if you compare it to Mr. Beast, it's a 11-to-1 comment ratio. So like for every 1 comment he has on a video with like 100 million views, there's 11 on my video. So it just feels like there's 400,000 people watching, but they're all really, really interested in the video.
When you watched the replay, Tim, of the World Cup, did you notice how many fans he had on the chat?
That's where I was going to go next. I was like, yeah, your fans seem pretty loyal because, like, if not, I think all the comments on the stream were in support of you.
Yeah, they're like, where is this kid? Let him start. let him just be the only one up there.
That's funny. Yeah, I posted on Instagram and YouTube, like, guys, go to their live stream. I don't know who's gonna be watching it, but you guys gotta go watch. Got a comment.
Yeah, so I picked up on that right away, and there was a few different folks that were pushing out that link. And what did you say? What was the number, Zach? 100 at one point? Like there's 181, 182 people streaming.
Yeah, something like that. I got a picture somewhere. Cool. Someone sent it to me. But yeah, somewhere around that. How are your parents involved in this? Like, what? Like, you have this list.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to know what else is on this list. By the way, like, it should be. It's good.
You'll have to sign an NDA.
Okay. No. Well, I guess I'm never going to see that list because I'm not. But so you have this list. Your parents, like, what was that conversation like? Hey, I don't want to do this. Like, because that's a bold move. Risky. I don't know. Like, but it's definitely, they were probably expecting you to go for 4 years and whatnot. So walk us through how that went down.
So I'm really lucky. I was talking to them. There was a call we had in, I don't know, it was probably November or something, the first semester. I watched a podcast that talked about flight tests, and that's when I got the idea to go. And I was like, all right, guys, like, we got to go to this summer. Like, I think it could do, this for my YouTube channel. It could do this and this. I had a bunch of aspirations. I was telling them all about it. And they're like, okay, we're going to go. We'll see what happens. And then when we went, and everyone at Flight Fest was like, thought the airplane was cool, and everyone was like was talking about it and stuff. And I hadn't even posted the video yet. My dad was like, well, you got to take a semester off. I didn't even ask him. He was just like, I think you should take off a semester, because I was not happy in school at all, and he could tell. So I didn't really do anything. He was just like, and I think he's always wanted to do something like this too, and so it was actually kind of easy. He was just like, yeah, I think you should take a semester off. And then he was like, but if it's not working out, you'll have to go back next semester. But luckily it worked out. Yeah.
And where do you stand right now in terms of with the product, getting it to market? What kind of timeline you're working with?
Yeah, so we're working on a YouTube video right now that I want to get up pretty soon here. That's gonna go over and like kind of announce the version 2 controller, and we're gonna do I'm gonna start posting like every week, and then shorts every day. We're going to do a Kickstarter in about a month, or at least definitely 2 weeks after that video is posted, which will be the pre-order for the controller that will come out March of 2025, or at least Q1 of 2025. So that's the timeline we're looking at right now.
What gosh, I just like the power of the network. I mean, it's just interesting how you and I met indirectly. As we talked about earlier, you're from Fredericksburg. Good friends, Mike Loving, Steve Du Bois, they're from Fredericksburg. And like, I just remember Mike calling me. He was like, man, dude, you got to check out this video. Yeah. He was just super, super hyped and stoked to see this. And then, so I watched it, and pretty cool stuff. So then you're hooked up from an IP patent thing there, but you've just continued to expand your network, and then next thing you know, you're pitching in the Startup World Cup that we talked about, and you're getting ready to launch your Kickstarter campaign. Is that just something that are you just rolling with the punches when it comes to that stuff, or does someone sit you down and say, hey, you got to listen to people that have been there? But because some people are really open to it, and some people are like, no, I can do it myself. I don't need your help.
Oh, I'm just making all this up as I go. But it is amazing what you can do. Like I like if you told me you could just start a company, this just doesn't make sense to me at all. And I probably still don't really understand it. But yeah, you gotta reach out to other people. You can't do everything yourself. When I first started thinking about this, I was like, oh man, it'd be cool if I just did everything by myself. But then that would take like 5 years. And then what are you supposed to do? How are you supposed to make money in those 5
Right.
years while you're working on it? You gotta get a team. You gotta spend some money to make it happen. And I was just really lucky to find Steve Du Bois. We just looked up patent lawyer in Virginia. His company was the first one that came up.
Oh, SEO works.
Law. Yep. Yeah. And we just got lucky that he also helps do startups.
Well, he was on for our OG audience members, first 10 episodes of the show, I believe, and he is the individual who let's just say was not happy that someone
We had an unexpected guest on the show.
Yeah,
Someone was mowing the lawn.
Someone was mowing the lawn, and he wasn't happy, and just straight mid show, live show, just. What are you doing? This insert that video here. No, I should have edited that. I should have pulled that out beforehand so we could have done that. But
oh yeah,
I haven't rewatched that. I kind of want to go watch it. But
you should. Yeah, we watched it a couple days ago.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I think we're kind of like starting to grow our hairs out because the barbershops were closed. Beard is like get my Santa Claus in. I don't know. But what's cool that's happening. I just pulled up the YouTube page, Eternal Progression. Some good views on there. So what's going on with the plane? What's going on with the Buzz Lightyear thing? You just put it on hold? Like what's the?
Oh yeah. So if you look on there, it's all RC stuff, and then the newest video is completely different. I want to keep doing that because like I can't just make a video about the controller every single month or every week. Like I'm gonna have to this year, and I have a lot of ideas for it. But there's just I'm gonna have to go back to it. It's what I love doing. Like in an ideal world, I could just sit in my workshop and just make stuff all the time and never even record it or have to make any money from it. So I love making this stuff. And I have a lot of ideas for the YouTube channel, and I definitely want to go back to it. And I think there's still an audience there because, it's still like it's a lot of gaming, but I feel like it's also a maker channel. And I think those two categories go together a lot. People that build PCs, they're building the PC and they're interested in making stuff too. So I think it's pretty different crowds, but it's also pretty similar. I want to keep it up.
Your YouTube video is really well done. Did you do that yourself? Did you do all the editing?
I did, yeah.
And did you learn how to do that? Did you learn that through YouTube, ironically?
Yeah, actually, I did take a class in high school that taught me how to use like Adobe Illustrator or Adobe Premiere Pro. And I think that actually, looking back, I think that actually did a lot to help me learn how to edit for the YouTube. But it was just trial and error. I had to switch to DaVinci too. DaVinci's so much better. Okay. Adobe crashes all the time.
I never liked Adobe. I learned on Final Cut.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But apparently Final Cut is not the same as it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really edit videos anymore, but I never loved Adobe. There was always just like fundamentally different than Final Cut, and I feel like Final Cut was very much easy for the user.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's also a big scam. All the subscription service, you can't buy it. It's ridiculous, and it's so expensive.
Yeah, it's $60 a month, and then if you want a color corrector, it's another $20. But yeah.
big scam, and they don't fix any of the issues either. They're just like, oh, they come out with AI. They're coming out with all this AI stuff, and then they're like, it crashes every 20 minutes. Let's put that under the rug, and you're paying $60 a month for it. It's wild.
Shout out to Adobe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's just it's funny that like we are in a time where like Adobe was disrupting the old school way, and now we're experiencing the disruption of the disruption, where it's like, because those Adobe and other old school things, they're resting on their laurels, and they're not innovating.
Yeah, and then you get kicked out of it. If you don't innovate, there's nothing you can do. You get kicked out.
Actually, I've been using this tool to edit like very simple videos called CapCut. It's pretty nice, pretty user friendly, pretty easy. So, but these are like very short videos. Nothing crazy. And I think you're working with Javier now, former guest of the show too, from an editing perspective.
Yeah.
So,
that's really exciting. Right now he's helping me work on the next video, and we're learning how to work together. I knew it was gonna be hard to switch that over, but it's going really good. I'm really excited about it, because it takes like that video that you were talking about, the controller video, probably took me like, I thought about that video for months and months.
Well, it's 16 minutes long, so a 16-minute video is not the easiest thing to edit.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
People don't realize that. Like, you shoot a movie and it takes 3 months, and then it takes a year or two to edit, and they're like, "Why?" Because editing is a difficult thing. Yeah.
And even from just a script standpoint, probably an hour per minute of what it is that you're going to say to get all that stuff right as well.
At least. I shot and edited that video in a week somehow. I don't know how I did it, but I spent months thinking about it. So by the time I went to go make it, I had a really clear image of what I wanted to do. But it's a lot of work. Like, I was staying up all night that week.
Speaking, of a lot of work, I'm curious, like, when it comes to hardware play, something that goes on the iPhone, and you have a new iPhone release every 12 months. How do you plan for that? Or is there like a special arrangement with Apple that you can get the dimensions beforehand so that you can start working that new form factor? How does all that work?
So actually, Apple stuff leaks like the day after. Like, so the 15 came out, like a week later, they're talking about the 16 and all the leaks that have come out. So we actually know the dimensions of the 16. But the great thing is of the form factor is like this top plate comes off, and this is just one piece of plastic and some magnets. So you're gonna be able to replace this on the controller whenever you want. So if you switch phones, you get a new phone. We just come out with a new camera bump size, or wherever the MagSafe magnet is, you just replace that part. So there'll probably be like 4 different top plates for the Google Pixel, the Samsung, and then the iPhone. So probably three top plates.
Wow, that's super smart.
Not to mention, you're going to be able to make more money that way too, because you get a new phone.
I mean, you're able to make money that way, but you're not, but it doesn't force your customers to have to buy a whole new unit every single time.
Yeah, I'd rather them keep using it, and because like the backbone, I feel that form factor in general, maybe not the company, that form factor just feels like whoever came up with it is like maybe not the person that actually uses it every day.
Backbone, are you familiar, Tim? It's you take the phone.
I should get it.
He had it on stage, and then it has the controller around it. So like you're playing like this. And they're very popular, about $100 each, I think. Yeah. So you plug that into your phone, but if you have a bumper of any kind of way around it, it doesn't fit. So you have to take it off, or at least that's my understanding. And very popular, but it's a lot of work to go in and out of to do other things.
Right.
And this works really good. Like when it's on, like this feels like a Nintendo Switch. But I feel like, does the CEO have it in his, does he work on, does he use it a lot? I don't know. I feel like a lot of people buy it and then it gets dusty on their shelf for a long time. You want something that, like, you can sell it to the person and then you make your money, but I want them to actually, I don't want it to get dusty on their shelf. You want them to be able to buy V2 when it comes out. If it's on their shelf, they're not going to buy V2. They forgot about the thing. It's broken, it's all dusty.
Yeah, because I don't remember what iPhone it was that Apple made the big announcement, or maybe it was an iOS release, but Apple made the big announcement about the Apple Arcade and how they're going to be expanding that, and they're going to be adding all this stuff. But that was like the big thing was like, it's just kind of super clunky to try to game on a iPhone without some sort of a controller. And do you think that will knowing once other gaming companies or games learn about your controller, do you think that could possibly push more games to come to Apple?
Yeah, that's what I hope, and that's what I talk about in the video. Like, that's kind of the big dream, is that this controller comes out, it's like actually makes that like something that people want to actually do, and I hope that people, big developers like PlayStation, Activision, will start making games and thinking about iOS or the Google Play Store when they make their game. And then also, I really hope that people start making games specifically for the phone, because there's a lot of games on the phone. There's a lot. Like, I have a whole folder. I'm gonna have to make a whole video about it, because Apple also doesn't really promote the good games either. I feel like they're really bad at that. They don't know what the good games are for the phone. Like, they have like Death Stranding, Resident Evil, which are like really big AAA games, like that you can play on your PlayStation 5, that probably came out like a year ago. They even have one that's gonna release this summer, and it'll come out on the phone at the exact same time. That's really cool. But do I really want to play a huge game like that on my phone? Like, not really. I don't really want to play like such a big game that takes a while to load. You're watching cutscenes for like 10 minutes. Then, like, if you need to go, which you're on your phone, if you want to text someone, you have to leave the game, and then it's really annoying. And I hope that developers come and make games specifically for the phone. Like, back in the day, the DS had the games that was like, it's specifically for the DS. And they know that you're going to probably close it and you have to like go get your coffee when the order's ready. It should be games that are like actually made for on the go for the phone. Like, if you should be able to FaceTime someone, and like the game would know that you're on FaceTime and make like an actual spot in the corner of your screen for when you do picture in picture, and you can actually like play with that person over FaceTime, and it would be meant for it.
Knowing how many, it makes a lot of sense, right? But knowing how many people are so ADD and going back and forth, and screen time is obnoxious, but yet games is at, you said the number on stage. I can't remember what it is, or at least I think you did. Like, it's a very large, in the billions number.
184 billion.
Yeah, 184 billion
of
mobile
all gaming in total.
All gaming. Okay.
132 for mobile gaming.
Okay,
so it's like
that's a crap ton of money, right?
Yeah.
$130 billion. But you got to go in and out of the game, because your homeboy is texting you about something, and your mom is sending you the recipe for the meal that you're gonna make. Like,
you got to be able to do that.
It should be so much easier for them to toggle between that.
Mm-hmm. And it's like,
for something that's giving them that much money. I mean, it's not like it's $5.
Yeah. The AAA games like Death Stranding it's like a $60 game. And so like, I think all that money comes from things like that have microtransactions. So like
Candy Crush.
Like Candy Crush. And those are like the games you play like this. Well, there should be like an in-between. There's so much money to make there. These people are obviously interested. Like, there should be an in-between between that game that's like, you're just literally dopamine rushing, and like the AAA game. There should be an in-between where it's like, you can have the best of both worlds, where it's like, you can play a really quick game, but it should be, you should be able to, it should be 3D, and like, anything you want, a shooter game should be built in that you can leave the app, open Instagram, and then go back to it. So you'll want to play it more too. And if you get a call, it should be, part of the actual like, it should even be part of the gameplay where like if you have to leave the game, like you have to put a shield up in Call of Duty, and you actually have to like put out like turrets or something, and then so when you leave, it actually like the game keeps going, and then you go back and you're good. But a lot of them they'll just kick you out if you're playing Call of Duty and you leave the game. They're like, oh, your session ended, you have to leave. It's crazy. It doesn't make sense why they haven't done that yet.
It's interesting stuff. Yeah, I mean, it's certainly stuff that I don't think about, and I think that I am probably representative of the age demographic of those people that make those decisions in terms of what's going to be developed and what's going to be pushed out,
Right.
and they don't live that world every day. So
Right.
like,
yeah, and right now it's such like a when you say mobile gaming, you think of like your little cousin coming up to you and being like, "You got games on your phone, dude?" Like you're thinking of like Subway Surfers and stuff. And there's a stigma towards mobile gaming right now because that's what you think of, and so like I think that's also what's keeping it stagnant is like we're really stuck in those two versions where it's like we're trying to get AAA games on the phone, and there's also, but what's working is Candy Crush, and they're kind of stuck in between those two.
yeah, it's interesting in the sense of so like in the back of the Cybertruck or the X, or actually, and in the back of all the Teslas now, they got their screen, and you can game. You can connect an Xbox controller, and you can game with in the back seat there. But it really, like to me,
while
I'm
driving.
No, in the back seat. So like whoever's your kids are in the back seat.
Mm-hmm.
In the they can watch Netflix. They can go to the game console.
Oh, there's screens in the back seats?
Yeah.
I didn't notice that.
And so you can connect an Xbox controller, but it's just like, I mean, like I'm not going to bring an Xbox. I'm just not going to bring something like that. And our kids, granted they're older now, but they're not going to run up and go grab a controller. It would be really neat. They're like, if that was something that could be connected to the Teslas, to their gaming console as well.
Yeah, it's also, I'd like it to be a universal controller, because if it's going to be on you, you should be able to go to your friend's house and they're playing Smash and there's only like 3 controllers where you can be like, oh, I got the 4th controller. You just connect it.
Yeah.
Same thing with the Cybertruck. You'll have a physical controller with you all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Like one, how you influence the market. 2, once you come out with the product, and then whatever your roadmap is going to be. I think that is this case in point that for someone like you, the traditional education of a higher education path isn't necessarily for everyone.
Yeah. It'll be interesting. I think that's the most exciting part, is the impact it could have, and getting excited about that. Like if they come out with the next iPhone and it's like, if they start thinking like, oh, we shouldn't put the camera bump there because it'll mess with the MCON controller, if it's that popular, that'll be really crazy. If Apple starts designing their phones around it or something, that'd be wild.
Yeah. What have you thought about, like what kind of numbers that you'll be monitoring? Would it be like, or would you even have the capability to know like how many hours played using your controller? Or, I mean, clearly you'll know like how many devices you sell, but it'd be just interesting in terms of if you're able to just capture data just in terms of how much it's being used and on what platforms and what games.
I should write that down. That'd be really cool. We don't have an app, or we're not going to have an app. It'll just be a controller. But if we have an app in the future, you could probably have that. That would be really cool to see how long people are playing on it.
What would you say is your skill set? Like what is Josh King?
I'd like to say mechanical engineering. I think that's what I would usually tell someone.
Got it.
But I kind of do everything. I'll do electrical. I like to solder, a little bit of electrical stuff. And then obviously I do media and video. Yeah.
And you're all pretty much self-taught, correct? I mean, like where did you learn how to solder, or where did you like pick up mechanical and electrical engineering skills?
Actually, my dad used to solder. Like, he had this like really old soldering gun, and he would solder in the truck, in the trucks, you know, in the all the wires in there. But I think I learned all of it from YouTube. Like, flight test was huge because that, you know, RC was the biggest thing for me because I got like this RC truck when I was little, the Gravedigger, and it was like the best thing ever. It was like it would go like, it was 30-mile-an-hour little RC car that you could just like jump, go up trees and stuff. And that got me into the RC. And from that, you know, just YouTube flight test, you know, RC, the airplanes, you have to solder, you have to learn, you know, how batteries work. You have to learn radio, a little bit of programming for like the drones and stuff. Radio, how radio waves, you know, 2.4 gigahertz works. I think like RC was a really good way to like learn all of that, even 3D printing, because you know, all the CAD on the like gear mechanism, you learn gearing and everything. Like it's kind of like just everything, and it's all from YouTube.
Yeah, I think that you and I just gave Zach his next book in terms of like, what are you watching on you? What are you learning on YouTube? I mean, you think about if you spend, I don't know
that's definitely
how many
the new book.
episodes are in one season? 13 episodes. So say 13 hours, 10 hours per season times 7 seasons. You know, you're in 70 hours. Think about how much, you know, how much you could have learned if you committed to 70 hours to whatever on YouTube to pick up a skill. I mean, you could become a ninja. And
yeah, you can learn anything. Definitely my highest screen time is YouTube. Just watching everything, keeping up with everything. It's actually a good use of your time a little bit.
What's your favorite? What are your top 2, top 3 channels that you watch?
Oh, I'm subscribed to so many. I'm probably subscribed to like over 1,000. Oh man, wow. And I probably keep up with a lot of them. Okay, top engineering channel would be like Colin Furs is really cool. Stuff Made Here. He does everything. He's got like the CNC machine, Tormach. He's a programmer, a mechanical engineer, and an electrical engineer, but like he's top tier at all of them. So he can literally just make anything. Engineering, that would be the best one. I'm also really interested in like more like video essay style videos. I would say like Vsauce or Solar Sands. I'm sure maybe someone in the audience knows who those people are, but yeah.
One of my questions is, do you remember the first YouTube video you ever watched?
Oh, actually, yes. It was definitely how to make a paper airplane video for sure with my brother. The first time I knew I was actually watching YouTube though, it was flight tests. I was actually watching a TV show called Outrageous Acts of Science, and they were showcasing one of their airplanes. And then I think I looked it up later. At some point I discovered like that you could watch. I was in my mom's car, and I had her phone. I discovered that, you know, it has like internet wherever you go, and that like blew my mind. So I looked up flight tests, and that was like one of the first videos I ever actually watched that I knew was YouTube.
That's cool. Yeah. One of these is, what YouTube channels do you watch? Lots of good stuff here in the new Zach Miller book. What are you watching on Netflix? Josh, I'll send you a copy.
Cool. Yeah, please do.
I don't know what else to go. When you were on stage and you were with, let's just call them more mature businesses than yours, but as Tim says, you were very kind of stoic and even keel and didn't look nervous.
I think it's really one of those things. Josh didn't know what he was really getting into. I mean, you probably had some idea, but you really kind of didn't. And I think in some aspects that probably helped you. You didn't like psych yourself out.
Yeah, I liked you guys kind of kept everyone in the dark a little bit about all the little things. So I was like, I was lucky I went eighth 8th because I was watching. I was like, oh, where's the timer at? When did they start the timer? When does the timer, how fast is the timer going? Where's the slides being shown at?
So you're able to understand it a little bit better. Okay.
Yeah.
I feel that. I don't know if you've gotten this, Tim, but I've gotten a lot of compliments on the non-traditional way that we did certain things of it.
Yeah.
I'm still shocked that the judges all stood together. I had no idea.
Josh, if you do another pitch competition, I guarantee that they will not be nearly as entertaining as what you witnessed a couple weeks ago.
It was cool. I liked it. I liked the timer and everything, and it was like, because I got up there, I was like, oh shit,
shout out to Swim Nerd.
Yeah,
gotta finish it.
That was I can't remember if I said to you, Tim, do we want him to do it? Because he's done some before, right? And local Virginia Beach company, they do. That's like for swim practices, so that you know where to keep going at from a cycle perspective. And he did a Kickstarter about 6 years ago. Did very well on that. So I know him well, and I reached out to him. But he first said no. And then I was like, come on, dude. Like, and Tim's like, he said no. And Tim's like, well, is the clock done too? It would not have worked without him there. So I'm glad he was there. It helped tremendously. Obviously, showcasing companies is something that we were trying to do. It wasn't just the 10. I think we were able to showcase, if you include his 21 companies, which is
what's your parents think?
Tim, for that. Yeah.
Oh, of the whole event?
Yeah.
Oh, they thought it was awesome too. I had way more fun than I thought I was going to have. I was kind of expecting, because I started writing it, and I was like, we actually had Mike Loving do, like, he took the slide template and then filled it in. And I was like, this is, very like businessy. And so I took it and I was like, I'm just going to make a live YouTube video. And so that's why it was like I did like a story, but I thought it would be like, I was writing it thinking there would be it would be kind of boring, like old people in the crowd, kind of bored. So I was trying to write like a story that would go with that. But it was like way more fun than I thought it would be. So it worked out really good. It actually fit in, like that story actually fit in pretty good. It was a lot more fun than I thought it would be.
It's because of the DJ. What was your hype up music?
Oh, I actually did. It was hard for me to pick. Because I wasn't sure if they were going to do it right, I wanted to send in like an MP4 that I like edited to like fade in and fade out. Because in the video, I have like this song from Home, and they have the best music ever, but it had this like beat drop, and I didn't want the beat drop to be in the wrong spot. So I actually did
Radiohead, right?
Yeah. It was between like Kanye West or Radiohead, and that song is like my favorite.
What Radiohead song was it?
It's called Weird Fishes.
Okay.
It's really good. It's from In Rainbows, like one of their top albums. It's my favorite song of all time for sure.
There you go. Tim was a PIMP. That made me laugh so hard. I'm like, what's this guy doing? Like send it up. All right, here we go. The mean streets of Virginia Beach. Watch out. Where's your top hat?
It was a lot of fun. And I'm glad that you were able to participate and you seem like you're savvy enough to take advantage of those opportunities. The judges, I was only in the deliberation room for just a few short minutes because I was introducing the next keynote speaker, but
and changing.
Yeah. There's a lot going on backstage, but I know the judges, they thought very highly of you, and you're introduced those judges, so definitely stay connected with them and continue to leverage that network. And I'm excited for your future.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I'm definitely going to keep in contact with that. I've met a lot of people there. It was definitely worth it. It was awesome.
All right. Well, your first podcast, you did great. We're done. You guys can check them out at m-con.tech.
Yeah.
Check out the video. Support the Kickstarter. It'll be out very soon. And appreciate your time today, Mr. King.
Yeah. Thank you guys.
The King.
It was
Thanks,
awesome.
Josh.
First podcast. Woo, let's go.